She left you for someone else. Painful? Yes. But here's the truth. It's not the end. It's the beginning of your awakening, not just in relationships, but in life. You thought she was everything. You gave your time, your effort, your mind, and she still walked away for someone else, just like that. Now you're here, sitting in silence, asking yourself, what did I do wrong? You're replaying every moment, every message, every call, every plan you made. You're hoping she'll realize your worth, that she'll come back. But deep down, something inside you is screaming, I can't live like this anymore. You don't want revenge. You want freedom. You want answers. You want to know how to come back from this stronger, smarter, untouchable. This video will give you 5 specific strategies that will not only rebuild you, but awaken something far more powerful: self-respect. Comment, I'm untouchable. Because by the end of this, you'll understand exactly what that means. Number 1, accept what happened. She chose someone else, and every second you deny that is another second you lie to yourself, another second you stay stuck in the past, another second you delay your transformation into someone unrecognizable to the version of you that tolerated crumbs for the illusion of love. And the deeper truth is, she didn't stumble into that choice. She didn't trip and fall into another man's arms. She knew exactly what she was doing, from the moment she stopped texting back on time, to the moment her eyes started wandering when you spoke, to when she made you feel crazy for noticing her distance. She already made the decision long before you knew you were a backup plan, not a priority. And no, she doesn't get to blame the timing, the confusion, or her need to grow, because real growth doesn't involve deception and emotional exit strategies. It involves communication and integrity, and she showed neither. And the moment you stop making excuses for someone who consciously chose to dishonor what you built is the moment you reclaim your mind. Because the longer you chase closure from someone who broke you without remorse, the longer you stay in a prison they already walked out of. And right now, you're not hurting just because she left. You're hurting because you still want to believe the lie that what you had was real when it ended with betrayal. And you know what cuts deeper than the heartbreak? It's the realization that you allowed so many moments to slide, so many red flags you painted white, so many late replies and shifting stories you explained away just to keep the fantasy alive. And you don't need more time, you need more truth. Because once the truth sets in, that she chose someone else while you were still choosing her, you no longer need apologies or explanations. You need action, and that action starts with confronting yourself in silence, asking yourself why you allowed it, why you tolerated it, why you needed her attention so badly that you sacrificed your dignity for it. And don't say it was love, because love doesn't survive where respect dies. And she stopped respecting you the moment you made her the center of your world, while she made you an option in hers. And now you're stuck looking at old photos, old messages, trying to find where it went wrong. But you know where it went wrong. It went wrong when you stopped being the standard and started being the chaser. When you ignored the shifts in energy, the delayed replies, the way she suddenly became too busy for the plans she used to beg for, when she went from sending good morning texts to not even remembering you exist until she needed validation or comfort or backup for her loneliness. And all of that wasn't accidental. It was strategic, emotional manipulation disguised as indifference. And now you think you need to heal by watching motivational videos or drowning in distractions. But healing begins when you accept what is, not when you escape what hurts. And this hurts because it's meant to teach you, not destroy you. And right now you need to stop checking if she's watching your stories. You need to stop crafting posts hoping she'll see them. You need to stop wondering if she'll miss you, because someone who can replace you while you're still grieving them doesn't deserve space in your mind. And this is the moment where you turn pain into clarity. where you stop playing detective, trying to understand why she switched up, and start playing architect, building a version of you that would never allow this again. Not because you hate her, but because you love yourself enough now to never stay where love feels like anxiety. And maybe she was beautiful, maybe she made you laugh, maybe the memories are hard to delete, but none of that excuses betrayal. And you don't get peace by trying to understand betrayal. You get peace by rejecting it, by refusing to entertain someone who left without respect and now wants to wander back just to see if they still have access. And even if she comes back, even if she realizes her mistake, remember this: someone who truly valued you would have never put you in a position where you had to question your worth in the first place, and she made you question it daily, with her actions, her silence, her inconsistency, her disappearances, her passive-aggressive replies, her need for space only when things got serious, her flirty energy with others while asking you to trust her. And deep down you knew, you just didn't want it to be true, but it is. And now that you've seen it clearly, you owe it to yourself to act like it's real, to stop chasing potential and start rewarding reality. And reality says this: she chose someone else. She left without honoring the connection. She didn't think twice about your pain. And yet, here you are still, hoping, still watching, still hurting. But you don't have to stay here. You can rise, not with noise, but with discipline, not with revenge, but with rebuilding, not with bitterness, but with boundaries. And one of those boundaries is this: never again give access to someone who exited without explanation. Never again explain your heart to someone who responded to it with silence. Never again convince someone to love you while they're choosing someone else. And this will be hard. This will stretch your soul, but nothing changes until the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing. And right now, you're standing at that edge, and if you jump, not back into her arms, but forward into your potential, you will meet a version of you that you've never known. A version of you that doesn't tolerate emotional crumbs, that doesn't need to be chosen to feel whole, that doesn't need closure to move forward, because you are not here to be accepted by someone else. You are here to accept the truth and use it as fuel, fuel for discipline, fuel for growth, fuel for boundaries, fuel for freedom. And every time you feel the urge to reach out, remember how it felt to be ignored, how it felt to question your worth, how it felt to see her online but not hear from her, how it felt to watch her move on like you never existed. And now ask yourself, do I ever want to feel that again? Because that answer will determine whether this pain becomes your prison or your power. And if you're ready to choose power, real, lasting, unshakable power, then don't just stop here. You need something that will guide you deeper, something that shows you exactly how to live, think, and move with the kind of clarity you never had before. That's why the Stoic Relationship Blueprint was created. An audiobook designed for men who are done repeating the same cycle, filled with timeless principles that rewire your thinking, rebuild your strength, and return your control. And now, it's available in audio form, so you can absorb this life-changing knowledge while walking, training, driving, even in silence. This isn't just a book, it's your roadmap out. A guide to help you never again lose yourself in someone who couldn't see your worth. Once you get it, it's yours forever. Unlimited access, no restrictions, no questions. Link is in the comments. Grab it, own it, and walk into the rest of your life equipped with what no one taught you, but what every man needs to know. Number 2, don't compete with him. You saw him, maybe on her feed, maybe in a tagged photo she forgot to hide, maybe in the background of a story she knew you'd watch. And in that instant, your mind started spinning, comparing, obsessing, questioning everything you thought you knew about your place in her life, because up until that point, you thought you mattered. You thought the connection meant something, but suddenly you're just background noise in a story where someone else became the main character overnight. And here's where most fall into the trap. They start chasing validation. They start scrolling through his profile, measuring up his life against theirs, picking apart his looks, his style, his lifestyle, trying to find what he has that they don't. And in doing so, they forget the truth. The truth that the moment you compare yourself to the man she chose over you, you give him and her power over your peace. And the painful reality is she didn't choose him because he was better. She chose him because she could, because she was already halfway out the door emotionally while you were still trying to make her smile. And the comparison game is a losing game because the rules are always changing and the scoreboard is fake. And the more you engage in it, the more you give up your control, your focus, your self-worth, because you weren't left because you weren't enough. You were left because you were too consistent for someone who thrives on emotional chaos, too steady for someone who craves the excitement of instability, too real for someone addicted to novelty. And if she wanted something deeper, she would have stayed. But instead, she chased the thrill of being pursued again by someone new, someone unaware of the same red flags you ignored, and now here you are, trying to fight a battle you were never meant to be in. But the truth is, there is no competition, because when you know who you are, you don't compete with someone who was handed a version of her you had to earn. You don't lower your value to prove a point to someone who discounted your loyalty as clinginess, your consistency as neediness, your love as weakness, because the moment you feel the urge to prove you're better than him, you're already losing, not because you're inferior, but because you're playing in an arena where her approval is the prize. And you are not here to be anyone's second choice, anyone's backup plan, anyone's safety net. You are here to build a life so grounded, so powerful, so fulfilling that you don't even notice when someone exits because your focus is too forward. And the reality is, he's not your competition, he's your replacement, and you don't compete with replacements. You evolve beyond them. You grow beyond needing to be chosen. You detach not because you're trying to win, but because you understand that not everything that leaves your life is a loss. And while she's playing musical chairs with attention, you're building an empire in silence. You're investing in yourself, developing discipline, training your mind, sharpening your skills, and every second you think about proving her wrong is a second you're not proving yourself right. Because if your life is still revolving around what she thinks, what she posts, who she's with, you're still in chains, not physical, but mental. And that's where the real battle is, not between you and him, but between you and the version of yourself that needs validation to feel whole. The version of you that confuses attention for affection, presence for commitment, lust for love. And this is where you rise. This is where you delete the bookmark on her profile. This is where you stop checking if she watched your story. This is where you stop pretending you're okay while dying inside. This is where you stop trying to win her back by showing her you're better now, because growth done to impress someone else is not growth, it's performance, and performance is exhausting. But when you grow for you, when you rebuild because you see the cracks in your own foundation, not because she pointed them out, but because you want to be solid with or without an audience, that's when you unlock peace. That's when her presence or absence no longer shifts your emotional state. That's when you stop competing and start creating. Because the only person you should be comparing yourself to is the version of you who tolerated being an afterthought, who stayed when he knew she was pulling away, who begged for conversations that were replaced with silence. And that man deserves justice, not from her, but from you. Because if you don't rise for yourself, no one else will. And while she's off collecting more options, you're cutting off distractions while she's curating a new highlight reel. You're mastering delayed gratification while she's being admired. For surface-level appeal, you're developing depth. And when the day comes that she realizes what she lost, it won't even matter, because you'll be too far gone, not in distance, but in evolution. Too focused on becoming the person you were always meant to be. The person who doesn't compete but creates, who doesn't chase but attracts, who doesn't look back because the future is too magnetic. And if he wins her now, let him. Because what she chooses today says more about her than it ever will about you. And eventually he'll see it too. The same patterns, the same emotional inconsistencies, the same need for attention disguised as confidence, and by then, you'll be gone. Not in bitterness, but in peace, not in anger, but in power, because the competition never existed. And now you see it clearly. The only person you ever needed to beat was the version of you that thought this was love, and he's finally dead. And you, the one who emerged from the ashes of heartbreak, the one who no longer needs to prove anything, the one who competes with no one because he knows who he is, he's the one she'll remember. Long after the excitement fades, long after the noise dies, long after the replacement feels the weight you carried in silence, long after you've moved so far forward that even your name feels like another life. Number 3. Use pain to transform. The pain you feel right now is not weakness, it's not something to avoid, it's not a disease you need to numb with distractions or drown with fake positivity. It is the most honest thing in your life, the raw signal that something has cracked open inside you, not to break you, but to finally wake you up to the parts of you that have been neglected for far too long. And instead of running from it, you sit with it. You face it without flinching. You listen to what it's telling you, because that pain is a blueprint, not a punishment. It's trying to show you where your boundaries were soft, where your self-worth depended on how often your phone lit up with her name, where you built your confidence on the shaky ground of someone else's attention, and now that she's gone, it all collapsed. Not because you're broken, but because the foundation was false. And this is where most people fall. Right here in this valley between who they were and who they could become. They numb it, distract from it, rush through it, beg for it to end. But you do something different. You use it. You make it the fuel that burns through your laziness, your excuses, your self-pity, because what you're feeling isn't just heartbreak, it's potential. It's the pressure that forces you to change, and if you resist it, you stay the same. But if you surrender to it, not as a victim but as a student, everything shifts, because the pain isn't here to stay. It's here to shape you, and it starts with discipline, the kind that makes you get up when you don't want to, show up when no one is watching, build when no one is clapping. And the most powerful transformation begins when you turn your pain into structure, when you turn every moment you feel her absence into a moment of self-construction. You go to the gym not because you want to look good for her, but because you finally respect yourself enough to take care of your body. You read not to impress anyone, but to feed a mind that got lazy while chasing comfort. You cut out junk people, junk food, junk habits, not because you're punishing yourself, but because you're done poisoning your potential just to feel good for a second. And the truth is, she left. She moved on. She's with someone else, and you can cry about it, scroll about it, stalk her page and get angry every time she posts like she's glowing without you. Or you can put your head down and become someone who doesn't just glow, but radiates a life so full, so intentional, so clean of chaos that no one ever wants to leave it again. But here's the hard truth. This transformation is not about her. It's not about proving a point. It's not about making her regret. Because if that's your motivation, you're still chained to her. And if she's still in control of your drive, then you're not free. You're just productive in your prison. But real freedom comes when the only validation you need is your own. When the only voice that moves you is the one that speaks when you're alone, the one that says get up, the one that says no more, the one that says you're better than this cycle of being shattered and rebuilt by someone else's decisions. And every time you feel the ache, the pull, the temptation to text her, to revisit the past, to scroll her page just to see if she's suffering, remember this. You were the one who stayed loyal while she got bored. You were the one who planned a future while she planned her exit. You were the one who stayed real while she entertained options. And you owe that version of you something more than just pain. You owe him a transformation so undeniable that every tear he cried becomes fuel, every doubt he carries becomes fire, every sleepless night becomes a building block, and you don't need a new person to save you. You don't need a rebound. You need reflection. You need clarity. And most of all, you need execution, because without action, pain is just punishment, but with action, pain becomes power. And this is your time to use it, to document your discipline, to fall in love with repetition, to become so rooted in your purpose that when she finally realizes what she lost, you don't even notice, because you're too far ahead. Not in ego, but in evolution. Not in pride, but in peace. And everything you ever thought you needed from her, attention, love, reassurance, you now give to yourself. And once you do that, once you learn to generate those feelings from within, you become invincible, not because you don't feel, but because your feelings don't control your focus anymore. They guide it, they direct it, they remind you that you survived, that you felt something real, and it didn't kill you, it built you. And when you look back months from now, maybe years, you won't remember the pain as much as you'll remember what it taught you. That. Your life changed not because she left, but because you decided that her leaving was no longer the reason you stayed broken. Number 4, build a life she can't enter. You need to stop wondering if she'll come back. Stop hoping she sees your progress. Stop crafting your growth to impress the same person who walked away from the real version of you. Because the truth is, if someone can replace you that fast, they never really saw you. They saw your convenience, they saw your effort and labeled it as desperation. They saw your love and used it as leverage. And now that you're finally waking up to it, don't you dare waste this realization trying to get their attention again. Don't build a better body, a better income, a better life just to flex for someone who didn't have the patience to grow with you when it mattered. Build it so well, so honestly, so purely out of your own hunger for freedom that even if she wanted to come back, there's no space left for her to fit in your world anymore. Not because you're petty, but because you're disciplined, because you're done living for the hope that someone else might validate your progress. And it begins with one brutal decision. You delete her, you block her, you remove her completely, not out of hate, but out of structure. Because healing can't grow in the soil where she still exists, digitally, emotionally, mentally. You cut the roots, and once the weight lifts, you take that energy and you reinvest it fully, relentlessly, without compromise, into creating a version of your life that is built around purpose, not approval. A life where your time is guarded, your space is sacred, your goals are personal, and your peace is non-negotiable. And it's not just about going to the gym or chasing money. It's about becoming so locked into your mission that distraction becomes unattractive, that the very thought of losing focus for temporary affection makes you physically uncomfortable, because every time you broke your boundaries for her, you were teaching yourself that love meant tolerating emotional chaos, that connection meant enduring disrespect. But now you know better. And if you truly want to become untouchable, you have to stop making room for people who didn't make room for your feelings when they mattered. And you do that by changing how you wake up, by changing how you spend your evenings, by becoming so disciplined in your habits that even your downtime serves your future. And when you feel the temptation to check on her, to see if she misses you, remind yourself, if she did, she wouldn't have left. And even if she claims she didn't mean to hurt you, remember that intent doesn't change outcome. Choices do, and she chose to leave. She chose to replace. She chose silence when you asked for answers, and now you choose solitude, not as punishment, but as preparation, because in solitude you hear yourself again. You start listening to your own needs again, and that voice becomes louder than any text that never came, any call that was never returned, and eventually you build so much around that voice, structure, goals, growth, that her voice becomes irrelevant, because while she's watching your stories, hoping to still see signs of the old you, you're evolving into someone who doesn't broadcast pain anymore, someone who doesn't argue with the past, someone who walks with purpose and lets their life do the explaining. And when she finally does notice, because she will, you won't even feel the need to respond, because by then you'll realize the one who left taught you the value of peace, the price of patience, and the power of silence. And no, this doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you love smarter, you love stronger, you love yourself first. And from that self-love comes standards. And from those standards comes protection, not just from others, but from the version of yourself that used to settle, that used to chase, that used to believe love meant fixing people who refused to grow. And now you don't just protect your life, you design it. And in that design, you remove old access points. You don't leave emotional doors open. You don't wait for apologies. You don't chase closure, because closure isn't given, it's created. And you create it every day you wake up and choose not to go back. Every day you put your phone down instead of reaching out. Every day you invest in your discipline. And one day, not too far from now, you'll look around and realize you've built something unshakable, not flashy, not fake, but real. And that realness will be your protection, your magnetism, your peace, and most of all, it will be your proof that healing isn't about revenge. It's about reconstruction, about crafting a world so rich with purpose, with clarity, with boundaries, that the past no longer qualifies for access. And in that world, she doesn't get to come back, not because you blocked her, but because you built so far beyond her reach that she wouldn't even recognize the man you became. Number 5. Never let her return easily. She left when you were still choosing her, when you were still loyal, consistent, patient, forgiving, when you still believed in her words more than her actions. And now that she feels your energy slipping, now that the silence isn't just a pause but a boundary, now that she realizes you're no longer reacting to the breadcrumbs, she sends that message, that simple hey, or just checking in, or how have you been, like she's expecting to just pick up where she left off. And this is where most fall, right here at the first sign of a returning ghost, because part of you still wants her to miss you, still wants to believe that maybe now she sees your worth, maybe now she's ready to do it right. But what you forget is that people don't just change overnight. They come back for comfort, for control, for ego boosts, and she's not coming back because she loves you. She's coming back to see if you still love her. And the second you respond too quickly, too warmly, too eagerly, you validate her decision to walk away in the first place. You reinforce that she never truly lost you, that no matter how poorly she handled you, you're still here waiting with open arms. And the painful truth is, she never respected you when you begged, when you tried to fix things alone, when you wrote long texts she barely read, when you poured your soul into conversations she replied to with one-word answers. And if you let her back in without earning it, without rebuilding trust through consistent actions, not words, without acknowledging the damage done, you're not giving love another chance. You're giving her another opportunity to disrespect you. And this time, it's on you, because you've seen the pattern, you know how it ends, and now it's about what you tolerate, not what she does. And this is the moment where your discipline is tested, not just your feelings, because your heart might still want her, but your mind knows better. Your soul knows peace is too expensive to gamble again. And she might say all the right things now, she might bring up memories, might play the nostalgia card, might say she's changed. But where was this change when you needed her? Where was this effort when you were drowning trying to save the relationship alone? Where was this clarity when you asked for honesty and got excuses? And now she wants access again. Not because she values the connection, but because she misses the benefits of having you without having to commit to you, and you owe it to yourself to stop romanticizing people who only appreciate your presence after they feel your absence, because love that leaves without warning should never be allowed back without work. And if she really means it this time, she'll prove it, not in a day, not with words, but over time, with patience, with effort, with vulnerability. But even then you have to ask yourself, do you even want her back? Or do you just miss who you thought she was? Because nostalgia is a liar. It edits out the tears, the anxiety, the emotional neglect, and paints a picture of what never really existed. And healing is not about reopening closed doors. It's about realizing why you closed them in the first place, and you don't let her return easily. Not out of pride, but out of principle. Not because you're cold, but because you're clear. And clarity means seeing things as they are, not as you wish they were. And what they are is this: she left. She chose another path. And even if she regrets it, even if she comes back crying with apologies and promises, it's your job to protect your peace, to defend your dignity, to value your heart enough to not hand it back to the one who dropped it the first time. And that doesn't mean you hate her. It means you love yourself more than the idea of what could have been, because what could have been was already broken when she chose someone else. And now you choose you. And that choice has to be stronger than your loneliness, stronger than your urges, stronger than your old patterns. Because you're not the same person who got hurt. You're the one who learned, the one who leveled up. And if she's coming back, she's not coming back to the man she left. She's coming back to someone she no longer qualifies for. And that's the shift. It's not about revenge. It's about redefinition. It's about holding the door shut. Not out of bitterness, but out of respect for everything you've built in her absence. And maybe she'll cry. Maybe she'll get mad. Maybe she'll say, "You've changed." And you have. And that's the point. Because you're no longer the man who begs to be chosen. You're the one who chooses now. And you choose peace. You choose standards. You choose a future where your love is not wasted on those who treat it like an option. And from now on, anyone who walks away doesn't get to walk back in without climbing, without proving, without earning. And that's not being harsh. That's being healed. They don't want you to have this. They don't want you thinking clearly, moving powerfully, or reclaiming the peace they shattered. Society would rather you stay confused, chasing, doubting, bending, begging, lost in your feelings while she moves on like you never mattered. But today, you choose something different. You choose to break the cycle. The Stoic Relationship Blueprint audiobook is now available, raw and filled with timeless Stoic truths that will snap you out of confusion and put you back in control. You can listen to it while walking, training, even while rebuilding your life in silence. Once it's yours forever. Unfiltered power at your fingertips. The link is in the comments. If you're ready, comment, "I reclaim my power." Like this video and subscribe to help other men find this before it's too late.